but instead of using a GUI, you use a template. But basically, Heat acts as a client for all the other services, and it uses the user's token, so it's basically acting on behalf of the user through the client. So there is very little magic there in terms of the way Heat interacts with the rest of OpenStack.
Yep. So yeah, most of the things you see here is probably not that different considered compared with other projects. So what you need to know is that we're feeding. So if you are interested in finding a start point of services, of the backend service, which is under the Heat engine service, you will find there's creating stuff. If you want to check out what is the most usually used for flow, you check out the convergence stake, which convergence stake, which is convergence mode, and we don't recommend you to using the legacy mode anymore. So if things
Since using all new stacks, unless you change the big option to all new stacks created. In convergence mode, any stacks created prior to Newton will be in legacy mode unless you upgrade them. But at this point, we think everybody should be using convergence. It's very mature now.
So we also the only reason we still keep the legacy mode because we want to make sure the user, if you are a user trying to upload, we want to make sure the user are happy during the migration, and we will try to figure out that by the next new user survey report. But right now we still keep the legacy code. For the convergent part, or let's say the Heat workflow layer. So usually you create a Heat stack with your template, and that stack will try to separate the resource to different engines or workers in the engines, and try to let them like working asynchronously.
Yeah. So the workers actually run in the same process as the engine, but they have a separate entry point. So it's Heat engine worker service up by, I think. But basically, they're both listening to AMQP because the engine is getting, really not AMQP, but so the engine is getting RPC messages from the API, and the workers are getting RPC messages from either other workers or from the engine. So it's kind of two separate RPC buses, but they're both combined in the same process, just for deployment simplicity.
And we have talked about that you are available to write a resource type, and usually resource maintained with following properties or functions. So if you want to write your own, or you want to help us to check it, here's all these things that you might find in every single of our resource type in the source code. Or if you run it by your own, you have to recommend it to finish all those properties or functions. And usually the entry point will be handled. For example, you want to create a stack, and you don't know where the resource will start to the create process, which will be handle create. And after handle is the people see the handle create here, and others that you can define it. And after that, we also encourage you to have the check, create, complete. So you're actually capable to make sure whatever the workflow you do is success and it's stable, or you fail with handling.
It depends on the resource type, right?
Yeah.
So if you can create a resource in one step and get success or failure back from the API, then you only need to handle create or whatever. If it's a long-run process, then you don't want to sit there and poll and handle create. That's one thing you don't ever want to do, because if you're doing that, then other stuff is getting blocked. So for stuff that's kind of asynchronous, where you have to poll things, we provide the check complete, so check create complete. So for example, when you create a node server, handle create will will do the call node, say create, and then check create complete will poll the server to see if it's in the active state. So as long as it's in the build state, it keeps polling it, and then when it gets to the succeeds in building, then check create complete returns true, and we say okay, it's complete.
Yeah.
And then the state can move on to the next thing, whatever depends on that start.
Yeah. So
I should also mention that errors are handled by just raising an exception. So if you raise an exception anywhere and handle create or whatever, or check create complete, that will be processed appropriately. The exception text will go into the status reason of the resource. The resource will be put in a failed state.
Yeah. And remember, finally, at the very end, that you have to define a resource mapping. So you map with the resource type, and just don't duplicate with others. I mean, duplicate with others, and you should be fine, and they should be working. And if you have no idea in any single one, then you can just go to the Heat repository and check out this other resource type. After seeing 1 or 2, you should be very competent to write it, and you will feel that is actually not that much difference between this resource to resource, because we basically handle the rest of the things.
Basically, Heat community advises, I would say advises that resources are written by the teams that own those projects, because you guys know better how your API works, what the quirks and crannies of it, so that you know how to call it properly, how to check for status properly, what is a proper status of this resource and stuff like that. So, I mean, you can always ask for help if you don't understand how to write the Heat resource or new client for your resource. But I mean, we try to dig into other APIs for the intrinsic some idiosyncrasies, but we are more comfortable with people who are actually owning those projects or resources, or very familiar with them, right at least the initial implementation, because again, always people usually from those projects come to Heat and say, hey, we need this kind of resource because users are asking for it to be, so that it can be managed in a declarative way through Heat templates.
Okay, so
Well, that's a great point.
yeah. So we got others like maybe specific resource or specific way to do things. I'm not trying to run through all the detail about this kind of specific usage, but I just want you to be aware there's things that you might be useful. So here's external resource. If you want to reuse, for this example, you want to reuse a neutral net network and which is already created, you can add on external ID for that. So in your resource, if you're using external, you won't be able to update it, but you can, and you won't be able to delete it, but you just kind of add a link to into your Heat resources, which is in some cases kind of useful.